Did Jesus resurrect? Common question. Popular opinions revolving around the same question. Which of them are you going to subscribe to? Once again, let me advise you from onset. When we come to such questions, let's admit our limitations to begin with. The fact is that these scholars that we may quote actually start with their limitations before they start exploring all the options based on the data that they can find and then make conclusions. So first of all, we were in there. There's nobody living today who was there, who witnessed it, to tell me, he didn't resurrect, we saw his body and all of that. No one is saying that now. All we have, text from the past. All we have, witnesses from the past. And we got to drill down to find out that no one was lying to us along somewhere in history, in some corridors here and there, but that these elements spoken of in the text were actual representations of what happened. I wouldn't bore you with all the facts and the names of the people that spoke about Jesus and the things that happened to him. However, I'm interested in the behavior of those who were his followers. Let's first establish a few facts. Number one, all of Jesus' earliest followers, there were some few non-Jews, but the 99% of Jesus' earliest followers were Jews. And in fact, they even thought that it was a movement for the Jews and that people were not supposed to join. Remember the story of Peter and how he struggled before going to Cornelius' house? God had to convince him with a vision in 3 occasions. He had to convince him to leave and go to a Gentile's house to minister to him the very same message of Jesus. So all these earliest followers of Jesus were Jews. And if anyone knows anything about Jews, these are guys who are very conservative. How do you see that? Even when they were Jews becoming Christians after Christ, followers of Jesus or Yeshua, these guys were still not mingle with people of other race like the Gentiles. Why? Because they were that stringent on their faith and beliefs. So for people like these, when you find them change fundamental core beliefs of them, then somehow something happened. And that's my argument to you. These were followers of Jesus, and we are told that in the narratives, of course, that we've proven in other episodes that if you did your research, you cannot say that the Bible was actually lying in the evidence that it professed. And you would find it even outside the Bible that some other people confirm these facts, that Jesus was crucified under Pontius Pilate. So the fact of his crucifixion is not in doubt. The Bible speaks of it. If you don't like the Bible, I can cite many other sources that confirm the same thing from the same time, who were people who didn't like Christianity. They were punishing Christians but still said Jesus died. Now, at the point of his death, we are told what the disciples did. Natural of humans, our leader we had faith in had died. So their morale, enthusiasm, passion, all gone, replaced with fear. Now, if these guys who had fear all over them and were trying to hide from the authorities that killed their leader suddenly resurface and say this guy who died has resurrected, and several of them are confirming having met him, and they are willing to die, as in the case of Pliny the Younger, when he's punishing these people, they are willing to die, and they actually, Jews, actually worshipping Jesus as their Lord, something actually happened. And what was it? My hypothesis to you is that if Jesus never resurrected, that passion the guys got must be explained by something else, and there's nothing else that can explain it except that something phenomenal happened. If I'm not going to bore you with the facts of the letter, and I'm just going to take this element of what changed the people to guys who are willing to die for Christ, I would say the one hypothesis that works for me is that Jesus resurrected. Again, I throw it to you. Before you just rubbish anything you hear about the Bible and Jesus because of some prejudices that people have layered in you, do your own research. I like that bit. Question these things I'm talking about. Be fair. Be firm. Be honest. Look at the facts and you tell me. If you look at these facts as they are presented of a certain timid Peter who denied Jesus at the dying minute of Jesus' life and later on came up and said that they would flout any rules and obey God in the name of Jesus than to listen to men, where did he get the courage from to be willing to die? That is actually explained by the fact that their Lord, who had died just recently, was back to life and even in more power because he had accomplished his mission. I throw it to you to do your research, and let's meet again on the subject and see what you have to say.